Hey everyone, it's Abbey here with High Five Practice, and thanks all of you for joining us on this segment where we're gonna eat together every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time. Only you guys know how it goes. When I say eat, it's something a little different than food. EAT is our formula for our lifetime patient formula for patients for life. It stands for educate, automate, and target. Again, I'm gonna say educate, automate, and target. But of course, it is lunchtime, so feel free to eat up anything that you want right now while we fill you up on some knowledge for all things dental. And today I have a very special guest. Hey, Dr. Eric Block.
Hey, Abbey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You are a man of many traits, including you're a dentist, you're an author, a speaker, an influencer, a podcaster, a blogger, a certified life coach, key opinion leader, and I can't imagine, because you say it's stress-free dentist, and it's like that's so much that you do. So it's amazing. So thanks for coming on today. And for those that don't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, again, my name is Dr. Eric Block. I am from Massachusetts, and I live and practice in the same town in Acton, Massachusetts. I'm a full-time practicing dentist. I have a lovely wife and two kids, Charlotte and Axel, and they're 6 and 8 years old. And I just wrote a book. I have a website. I do a podcast. Just keep very busy. So there's always something going on during the day that keeps me busy, and the day just flies by.
Yeah. And I love your story. And when I first met you a few months back, it's really cool to hear about how a lot of dentists are dealing with a lot of stress on a day-to-day basis, and how you took that and just really made it into your own and made sure to address the topic. So before we dive into Stress-Free Dentist and the book that you wrote, describe a typical day for you. Like what is constantly going on, and what is your top priority when it comes to practicing at your office?
Yeah, so I guess typical week is, I practice 4 days a week. So I do Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I alternate Thursdays and Saturdays, and I work Fridays. So I typically have Sunday and Monday off, and then either Thursday or Saturday. So and I get up really early. I have little kids, and I have a lot going on. So I get up early. I get up at like 4 or 5 a.m. and answer my emails, or work on my website, or working on podcasts, or doing something. And then while I'm practicing, I practice full-time dentistry, general family practice, do a lot of implants, and I try to just squeeze everything in. So in between patients, again, the gaps, answering emails, working on my websites, so that I'm always doing something. And like I said before, the day just flies by. And I don't have no commute, because I live and work in the same town, so my commute's like 8 minutes. So I cruise home, and then or I go for a jog after work, and then I head home and get to hang with the family.
That does help, that you don't have to have a large commute or anything like that. You can kind of keep it within boundaries from bouncing from one place to the next. But oh my gosh, that's crazy. Starting at 4 a.m. I don't know how you do it. Like that's just, and the multiple hats that you wear, which makes me think just dentists as a whole. Like if you're just a dentist and you also work in all these other verticals, and you're already busy, there's already stresses that they face day to day, and things that really stress them out. So as a dentist, what are obstacles that you typically face, and what really stresses you out the most? Make it really
it's obstacles at the office are pretty classic for most dentists. It's trying to give that patient that great patient experience. And for me personally, that's exhausting, because I'm an introvert, and all that dentistry is such a very social profession, and you have to give that patient your all, and you always have to be on your A game. You can't really have a bad day. And then you're going from room to room and doing this with hygiene checks and on to the next patient, and you do this for 8 hours, and it's exhausting. So that's one of the biggest obstacles. And, the priority of the office is always that patient experience. I try to, constantly try to think outside the box and reinvent myself in the office, try new things, keep things interesting. I don't want to get stuck in that hamster wheel where I'm doing the same old thing over and over.
Yeah.
We're really trying to promote our membership plan locally to community, to small businesses in the community, and also physically, just obstacles. In dentistry, it's a very physical profession where we're in these awkward positions for minutes, 30 minutes at a time, sometime, and you really got to take care of your body. And so I'm constantly stretching throughout the day to try to tackle these physical obstacles as well.
That's so true. Is it's not only mental and it's also physical as well. But we always talk about this, right? You have these doctors that are wearing multiple hats that people don't even, especially patients, don't even realize, right? That you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're HR, sometimes you're a plumber, sometimes you're an electrician, sometimes, oh, and on top of that, you're a clinician, and you actually have to take care of patients and make sure that they're taken care of. And then to your point, and then you go home and then you're a father, you're a husband, there's just so much that's happening. And you find that, especially in dentistry, there's all that pressure, right? You're also responsible for all these positions, all these jobs, and then throw in COVID and all of it, a pandemic, and that just really puts the cherry on top of stressing out and just not knowing how to control what's going on, or knowing, I guess, how to take a break and knowing to take care of yourself is the most important thing. You can't be a great leader if you're failing yourself, if you're falling apart, right? So you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And I just think it's crazy how lost that could be. And as marketers, we always say, on top of that, they're trying to be marketers too, right? Like they're also trying to take on these other tasks of understanding softwares and making sure they're sending out effective marketing and making sure their practice is successful, whether that's an ads or website. And it's like, how do you do this? That is, no other business owner is expected to do that with all that pressure, right? There's always other teams that are involved, departments that are involved to make a business thrive. So it is pretty crazy that all of that pressure gets put on a dentist.
And you're so right. And we had no training in any of this.
Right.
Yet a lot of times the worst is we're expected to know all the answers. And I think it's okay for dentists to just say, I don't know, because we had no training in HR, culture, behavioral management, systems, insurance. We come out of school with minimal clinical skills. We don't even really know how to talk to patients. In fact, in school, you talk over the patient, you talk about the patient, and you're just trying to get through your clinical requirements. So you have really no business skills or accounting skills. And then we're one of the rare professions where you can have an extremely successful business with absolutely no formal business training. So that's we have the clinical side, and then you have the whole business side, and it can really lead to a lot of stress and burnout for a lot of dentists.
And that's definitely what you talk about too, is burnout, right? That's how Stress-Free Dentist came about, is you were experiencing. So tell us how that came about. I don't want to talk for you of how, you came up with the book and how to really make sure to address this. Because this is a concern with dentistry, is just making sure that you don't burn out and that you aren't overwhelmed.
Yeah, for me, it got to the point where, and this didn't happen overnight, but through all the phases of dentistry, from applying to school, going through school, what to do after school, whether, to become an owner, a partner. I went through some, not so great associateships. All these phases have different stresses, and they can all lead to, to burnout. Personally, my biggest issues were up here. I had, I'm an introvert, like I said. I was a major people pleaser, and just the day-to-day going from patient to patient, always trying to, give them my best, never being able to have a bad day, because no one wants a a tired, you know, dentist, sad dentist that's in a bad mood. So there's a lot of acting that goes along with it. And you have to kind of give it your all. And then you go on to the next patient and try to do the same thing. So for me, that just got exhausting, and I started to really withdraw. I couldn't wait to leave the office for lunch. I couldn't wait to leave at 5 o'clock. I couldn't wait until the weekend to get through the week and then recharge for the next week. I had the major Sunday night blues where I would look at my schedule and be like, oh, Mrs. Johnson's coming in. And I wouldn't be able to sleep because I'm thinking about Mrs. Johnson coming in. And then I said to myself, I can't wait until I retire. I'm just going to get through this. This is what it is. I chose this profession. It's stressful. I have bills to pay, and there's nothing I can do about it. I just got to kind of get through it, and then when I'll retire, I'll be happy. And I realized, no, that's no way to live.
Yeah.
That you can't dread going into work every day. So I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, Eric, you have a problem here, and this problem is not going to go away. So I picked up the phone, and I had wanted to do it for a while. And I finally called a therapist, and I started going to therapy every 2 weeks, and just realized what made me tick and why I was the way I was. And that took a long time and years, but I finally got comfortable with myself because I used to avoid confrontation. I wanted to make everyone else happy. I was pleasing everyone else. I was saying yes to everyone else, which is really like saying no to myself.
Right.
And I finally got to the point where I said, I just don't care anymore. And I didn't mean about treatment or patients. I just meant I stopped caring about what people thought about me. I started saying no to certain patients I wasn't comfortable working on. I started saying no to certain cases that I didn't feel comfortable working on. And to a lot of dentists out there, you don't have to treat everyone. You don't have to take on every case. Find your comfort zones. And I know it's hard for young dentists out there that are still trying to find their way. But if it just doesn't feel right, don't get involved with a patient or a treatment that may be out of your comfort zone, because I got burned a few times earlier in my career, and that really sticks with you. So there was many steps that I took to overcome my burnout, but a lot of it was just getting comfortable up here.
Oh my God. I love that you say acting, because that's so true. When you look back on patients, or if you're dealing with a lot going on, and you're carrying all this weight, you have to go in and have a smile, because it is the digital age, where everything that, if any patient has a bad experience, they're submitting that online, they're writing a review, and that's only worse on your mental health. That's only worse to really beat you down and be like, I can't. Sometimes it's just hard to be on all the time. So to really, but I love that it's also talking about it and finding what really, like you said, your ticks, right? Figuring out what it is. Because oh my gosh, life's too short to be living and waiting for that next stage of your life. You put all this time in to be a dentist and put all this work in, and then you find out that's not what you're passionate about, but it is. It's just there's so many other elements that's hard that no one prepared you for, to take that on. And yeah, you don't want to wait till retirement. That's not fun. I mean, everybody secretly does, but no, you want to enjoy your work.
Yeah, and there was a point where I couldn't wait to just leave for lunch, let
Oh,
alone
yeah.
retirement. But I was not getting involved with staff functions. I was avoiding patients. I was avoiding staff. I was just getting out of there as fast as possible. And also I was monitoring and watching treatment instead of treatment planning and actually doing the treatment. So that's another red flag. If you feel like you're just not motivated to do dentistry anymore, and your things that you used to treat, now you're watching and monitoring, then that can be a sign too. But to all the dental professionals out there, and this goes for not just dentists, but hygienists and assistants and team members, there's a lot of false belief that there's nothing you can do, that it is what it is, that my job is just stressful, and that's not the case. You don't have to live like that, but you have to take action. You first got to realize there's a problem. then you got to take action, and then you got to stay the course. Because when you're taking action, some things may not go according to plan, and you may have relapses of negative thoughts and burnout. But you just gotta hang in there and believe in yourself and make the necessary changes, and keep positivity, keep positive people around you. You want to work with people you enjoy, and not bring in a negative vibe too, because that can travel quickly and create negativity within yourself as well.
Yeah. And you talked about, surrounding yourself about positive people and just really taking action. Is there specific action to really take for if someone's feeling this way right now? If everything that you're saying back when you felt this way, if they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is me." What advice would you give them to get out of that, to help, like even just the first step to really make sure that they are taking action?
Yeah, first step, like I said, is look in the mirror and realize that something's not right. You're not enjoying going to work anymore. You're toast. You're done. You're stressed. You're nervous. For a while, I was looking at patients like they were just someone who's going to could possibly sue me, or give me a bad review. I wasn't looking at them as like having a good long-term relationship. I was so nervous all the time. And again, I said, this is no way I couldn't practice like this for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
So you have to do something, and reaching out to, for me, it was a therapist, but for anyone else out there, it could be their peers, a mentor, a consultant, life coach, just going out for a cup of coffee with someone that can give you the undivided attention that you need, and hear you out. But you need to do something. And for any young dentists out there that are associates, don't stay in bad associateships too long. If you're not being treated well, or you're not getting the proper respect, move on, and move on quickly. Don't stay in a bad situation too long.
Yeah, so true. You've got to recognize it. You've got to find people that can support you. And it's not just your team, but also outside. So I love that you said coaches, consultants, people that have also been in the industry that know or can help you through this so you don't feel alone is always key. And associates, absolutely. They're your partner. They hire you on to either take over their practice or to partner with them, right? So if you don't feel like you're a partner in that relationship, you need to find somebody that is, because not everybody's great with everybody, right? You've got to find the right support, the people that get you excited to come to work, and the people that you want to thrive for and grow with and work hard for is always key. Oh, I love that's so. Yes, Eric, this is so good. I'm sure there's people that are like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that I was going through this." So it's common. I think that's what happens too. Nobody wants to feel alone, right? We're human. we have to be part of communities, and just to know resources that are out there is very key. But I want to switch it over to today's dentistry is a little different, especially post COVID. But it's very digital focused. It's a very digital age. So how would you describe this new era of dentistry post COVID?
Yeah, and some of the new era of dentistry has really been game changers for me. Switching over to digital scanners, so impressionless scanners, that was a game changer. We switched over. We got a trio scanner, so I enjoy doing crowns so much more than I did before because of this cool technology. So going digital for me, with the digital impressions, the scanners. We have a cone beam CT scan, so I do all my implants. I have a whole digital workflow, surgical guided. I print my own guides. So this technology, sure, I could do implants or crowns in a cheaper way, but investing in this technology makes me look forward to doing this treatment again, and kind of re-energizes myself, the staff, the patients. I think clear aligners and sleep and airway are going to be the now and the future. More 3D printing Most offices, I think, at some point are going to have a 3D printer, whether it's printing up your own dentures, surgical guides, night guards, eventually fillings and crowns. And then artificial intelligence, I think, is going to be huge. I think that is going to be, in the next 5 years, a total game changer as well. So it's exciting. And if you don't kind of adopt to the new era, you're going to get stuck in a hamster wheel where you're just doing the same old thing over and over. And it's great for you, the staff, the patients, to try new things and try new technology. I think you'll really appreciate it, even if there isn't that cost, that return on investment. I call it return on fun. So there's ROF versus ROI. So if it's, a piece of equipment that maybe was a little expensive, but you're using it and you really enjoy it, it's worth it.
And like you said, it's reinvigorating. If you're trying to find something that's actually, you're investing into the practice, you're taking risks sometimes, like you're making sure you're an added value. But what's key is, I've talked about a lot of times on Let's Eat, is how smart patients are nowadays too. They know about this technology. They're bringing up the conversations and looking for it. So if you have same day dentistry, they're actually searching for providers that have that in their office, because they're thinking how it affects them. Is it time? Is it, I don't have to take off work? Is it going to be more cost effective because it's less visits? Those are things that the patients are thinking about and searching for, because they have so much information right at their fingertips, at their phones. So being able to also provide those services and brag about it. I think if that's what we always like to drive home, is education, right? Don't just buy some awesome 3D cone beam and throw it in the back and they only see it when they are in it, right? Brag about it. Get excited about it. If you think it's ROF, return of fun, then let your patients know about it and tell them how fun it is. Send out an email campaign letting them know how it benefits the patient. Talk to the patients like they're people, and actually get them excited about it as well. And you will see your ROI because of that, because they feel like they're more empowered, and they're not going to leave you for somebody else because they're searching for it. You might have it all along, but if you're not promoting it, they don't realize it, and they leave you for somebody that does have it, just simply because they didn't know. And you have those patient records too, AI and having all that. Oh, that stuff is so exciting because it's getting so smart, and it's just allowing patients to have the best experience possible, whether that's clinical or whether that's being able to communicate concerns and just being able to communicate with the team all the time, as whenever they want, whether it's questions, whether it's saying reviews, chatting, texting. It's pretty amazing to see it just really evolve, and patients just have more control than ever now, though, is the only thing.
Yeah, and if you have, that technology and you're using it, it's going to wow patients. They're going to refer their friends and family, and you're eventually going to get that return on investment, because it's going to start snowballing, and it's just going to be impressive, and it'll get around to the community, and you'll get good reviews too.
Yeah, and exactly. And that's even better if they talk about it in the reviews. So when people are searching for 3D cone beam, then they can actually, it pops up in your reviews. It's gonna help with your SEO overall. So but it's crazy. You got to be smart about it. You got to be excited about it, and also team up with people that know these things, that you can also get the best return of investment. But I like the return of fun. That's amazing, because it should be. It should be exciting if you're putting that much
Exactly.
into your practice. But the patients will definitely appreciate you for it too. And you kind of hit on this too, Eric, but as far as giving advice, or for any dentists or practices that you wish you got advice for back when you first started, what would that be?
Yeah. So Blocky, if I told Blocky 20 years ago when I was first getting out of school, I would have told young Blocky to associate for maybe 2 or 3 years, in different types of offices, grabbed bits and pieces of things and tips from the owners that I was working for, and then I would have gone and started or
Or did I lose you, Eric? I'm sorry. There we go. I think I lost him for a second. That's okay. I think that's key too for everyone that's out there, is just understanding there's so many other people out there that are great resources that you can definitely expand your reach to. And that could just be other associates, like Eric was saying, as far as making sure that other people that have already been in your position, they are such a great resource to really understand what it is to hold a practice. But also, there is the element of other partners, other relationships. We're learning this a lot at High Five Practice as well, just as establishing a business, is making sure you're not only knowledgeable of everybody in the industry, but you're knowledgeable of who the experts are. So you don't have to worry about it. You need to be the expert and clinician. You need to be the expert in treating your patients. And to his very point, not getting burned out and taking care of yourself, but also making sure you can provide the best technology and go to events and stay logical on those. But then tie yourself into people that are going to be loyal partners for you, people that are going to take care of you and that are going to make sure that you know how to get through the day-to-day without having to physically do it yourself. I think he hit it key on earlier, was just talking about how you're overwhelmed and you're doing everything and you're trying to overcompensate, or you're acting through patient care. Absolutely, when you're trying to juggle so many things. But really, if you take on less of that weight, or even if you pick treatment, right, is what he said, who you're going to treat, it goes the same way as just having a business. If you need somebody that's going to be in your corner for consulting so they can help with your business, maybe it's about marketing, right? Of course, I'm going to say marketing, but even different types of marketing, whether that's social media, that's ads, your website, your patient communications, videos, all of those are elements to make sure that you're functioning as a practice. It's something you don't have to worry about. You should just be approving those, delegating, and signing off, because that allows you to be more focused in your work. There's also the idea of, making sure you have a great IT company we talked about last week, having a lawyer, like what we talked about with Olivia last week, and making sure you're HIPAA compliant. You don't have to make those playbooks. You don't have to put these protocols in place. You can team up with people to make sure that they're taken care of. You can team up with people to make sure that you have the best practice possible, but you're also going to see your practice thrive. You're going to see your team really get excited, and you're going to see your team really make sure that they have all the resources to, we even got a coach for our company that allowed us to really focus in and see what's important and not important. It goes the same with the practice. You need someone that's going to guide you, and somebody that has, whether you have HR or not, somebody that your team can go to make sure that they're taken care of. These are all daily stressors that you can remove just by building a team or a network around your company or your practice, if you want to see it as that. So I think that's very, very crucial. It seems that Eric's having a little bit of technical difficulties. So I'm sorry, I'm going to cut this a little short for you guys, but I do want to make sure you know about him, because he is amazing on everything that he's touching. He also offers dealsfordentists.com. And what this is just along the lines of making sure there's a lot of resources and making sure there's a community that you can go to. This is a marketplace for you to find. Oh, here's Eric. I won't talk about it if he's going to be here. Hey, you're back. Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Hey, Eric, can you hear me? I had that happen to me last week. My internet just cut out. But I was actually just talking. Can you hear me? There we go. I was just talking about deals for dentists and how important it is, kind of going off of what you were saying, of building a community around people that are experts and making sure that you're not alone when you're thriving your practice. And by doing that, you've created a marketplace to find those resources and to find people that really can make a difference. I don't know if you can hear me yet. It doesn't seem like it. There we go. Yes. Can you hear me? I could hear you briefly. Check this really quick too. But dealsfordentist.com, if you check out that website, I have it right here on the screen. That is actually a marketplace for you to just, like I said, check out anybody that you're looking for to build that team, to build that community, to make your practice the most efficient as possible. And they even have categories and they have different deals that you can display to really make sure that you're taken care of, which is really, really exciting to have that. And I love that's a resource provided, so people just don't have to start from scratch and start from Google and they're trying to find everything, but instead they can go to one place to really guide it. Oh, I can hear you now, Eric. Can you hear me? Let me see here. Can you hear me now, Eric? I feel like I'm on the Verizon commercial. And they also offer a podcast that's available as well, which is really great, to be able to check in on what's going on and really have different guests. So kind of like this, you're able to listen in on all the different kind of partners and relationships that are out there that Eric's already found for you that you don't have to worry about vetting. Can you hear me now? Another thing that we talked about was the Stress-Free Dentist book. That is actually available right on Amazon, so you guys can check that out. He has written an amazing book really talking about how to not make sure that you get stressed out and that you have burnout and you experience that, but instead find solutions to making sure you have the best life possible when it comes to practicing as a dentist and just being a business owner as a whole. Can you hear me now, Eric? I see you moving your ears and I don't want to interrupt you if you do. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the fact that the reason I met Eric was because he's part of the Smiles at Sea, the Get Stress-Free Dentistry Summit. And we are really excited for that upcoming event. It's going to be October 11th through the 17th in Hollywood, Florida. And I'm going to be on the marketing panel talking about different marketing tactics. But it's a really great event. They're going to be doing yoga sessions. They're going to be making sure that you understand how to be stress-free in your practice day to day. So I would highly recommend for you guys to go ahead and register. I'm going to put it in the link below as well in the chat so you guys can see that in the comments below here on Facebook Live. So feel free to click on that link when I submit it. But I would definitely go ahead and make sure you're registered for that because you're not going to want to miss this event, guys. It is going to be fun, enjoyable, but also relaxing. And you're going to get a lot of information. Because not only do the patients need education on their day-to-day, but in order to advance yourself, in order to make yourself the best practitioner possible, you've got to be going to events like this, making sure you're knowledgeable of what's going on in the industry, and also just giving yourself a little break and making sure that you're working on yourself too. So go ahead and go to smilesatsea.com/the Get Stress-Free Dentistry Summit and register for that. Again, that's in October. Spots are filling up fast, so make sure you go ahead and register for that. And then again, dealsfordentist.com. You guys can go ahead and check out and make sure Eric, can you hear me or is there still audio problems? I'm sorry. Is it the headphones? The audio? That's okay. I'm sorry, guys, for any technical difficulties. I'm definitely going to have Eric back to make sure we talk about all things dental and to pick his brain a little bit more because he is very knowledgeable about all things. And it's really nice to get insight of the dentist perspective to make sure we understand everything that they do on a day-to-day basis and how in the industry we can make it easier for them. So join me next week, guys, Wednesday, 12 p.m. Central Time right here on Facebook Live. And I'll see you guys in the future. Bye.